All right. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody out there. My name is CJ Curry. Welcome to the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks making daily fantasy sports easy by picking just 2, 3, 4, 5, or up to 6 different stars from your favorite sports. You combine those picks, decide if they're going to go for more or less on their projection. and you can win up to 25 times your money. So shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring the show. Guys, I've left a link for you to get started on PrizePicks today. They're doing a 100% instant deposit match when you use code Curry and make your first deposit on PrizePicks, making your first bet, your first entry on PrizePicks totally risk-free. How could you not? How could you not take advantage of this offer if you're not already playing on PrizePicks yet? So shout out to my friends over at PrizePicks. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. You guys absolutely went bonkers yesterday on that like button. You ran those likes up higher than we've seen in quite some time. I'm going to set the bar again to 99.5 likes. Let's go ahead and go for the over. Why not? I think we can go for more than 99.5 likes. Life is too short to bet the under. So I'm taking the over once again. I need your help. I need you to hit the like button if you're watching. And I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Today is Taco Tuesday over on PrizePicks, and it looks like our taco of the day so far, our first taco is going to be Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic. Now, I've got a poll up here on our live chat saying, do you like Paolo Banchero at 17.5 points? Now, the reason I mentioned him at 17.5 points, folks, is because that's what he was supposed to be at. He was supposed to go from 20.5 points down to 17.5, but now I'm seeing some conflicting reports that it's not 17.5 points. This taco is going to be Banchero at 16.5 points. So I want to get clarification. I want to make sure that we're talking apples to apples here. But yes, I saw Banchero at first at 17.5 points. That was supposed to be the discount from 20.5 down to 17.5. Now I'm seeing him from 20.5 down to 16.5. So yes, this poll, which now has 55 votes, looks like most of you were liking it at 17.5, but I think we're getting it at 16.5. 85% of you were liking it at 17.5. I'm going to go ahead and close or end this poll, being that it looks like we're getting Banchero now at 16.5. So those of you who didn't like it at 17.5, are you liking it better at 16.5? Let me know in the chat why or why not, guys. I'd like to hear back from you. I'd like to know what you're liking or disliking about Paolo Banchero at 16.5. If you're not taking the 16.5 over, what are you doing? Are you taking the under on his original point line at 20.5? Let me know your approach with this first taco of the day. Of course, we're going to dig into this taco. We'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and pick a winner from yesterday's show. Some of you guys are watching for the first time who haven't subscribed yet. Well, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed. You're going to want to make sure that you hit today's like button. And you're going to want to make sure that once this show ends, you go to the comment section, you leave a comment with your favorite pick, favorite prop, favorite projection of the day. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, because every day that I go live, I'm picking somebody from the comment section, not the live chat, but the comment section of the replay of today's show, to win a 2-pick power play. It's risk-free. You get both of the picks right. You win yourself $100 on PrizePicks, all right? I'm giving back. PrizePicks, they just finished with their 12 days of Picksmas. They're running promos every Tuesday as well. They're trying to give back. They want to keep everybody in the game. So this is my way of giving back, trying to give you guys some incentive for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, okay? So let's go ahead and select today's winner. This will be based on the comment section from yesterday's show. So shout out to everybody who joined me for yesterday's show. Shout out to everybody who left a comment on yesterday's replay. Let's go ahead and find out who wins the free 2-pick for $100 on PrizePicks. So we got a total of 31 unique comments already preloaded here on our comment picker. All we got to do now, hit the start button. Guys, good luck to everybody out there. Hopefully we don't have any duplicate winners. It looks like our winner from yesterday is Bryce Duccini or Ducini. I don't know if you're an Italiano, but Bryce from one Italian. Yeah, I got a little Italian. I got a little Italian in me. From one Italian to the other. Congratulations, my friend. You have won. His comment was Kyrie, P-R-A. He loves the show. Usually can't comment because he's at work. Well, listen, my friend, you have won. So hopefully you're watching live. If you're not watching live, of course, the replay is always available for you to go back and watch again. But Bryce, all you got to do now, my friend, you got to send me a DM. I need your PrizePicks email address so I can get that free 2-pick power play for $100 added to your PrizePicks account. So feel free to DM me on Twitter at Curry the Creator. Guys, give me a follow if you don't follow me on Twitter yet. or you can jump into our free Discord. There's a link for the Discord down in the description below, Bryce. You can jump in the free Discord. We've got bots set up to help with your player prop research. We've got news feeds set up for all the different sports. But Bryce, you can jump in the free Discord. You can shoot me a DM in Discord as well. My name is CJ Curry. Real easy to find me. I am the administrator of the Discord. I'm at the top of the heap. You can find me over on the members list there. But Bryce, congratulations. You are the winner, my friend. So please make sure you claim that risk-free 2-pick power play for $100 on PrizePicks. All right, moving on. It's Larry Birdle time. We got to figure out today's mystery player of the day. Guys, this is a little warm-up exercise to kind of get your brains going, get the juices flowing, right? Before we start talking some player props and breaking down today's NBA slate, we got to figure out who the mystery player of the day is. Now, I've already got a thumbnail player, Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. He's going to be taking on his former team tonight, the Dallas Mavericks. So we're going to talk about Jalen Brunson first and foremost. He'll be our first guest of the day to kind of get things rolling here. Jalen Brunson taking on his former squad, the Dallas Mavericks. Well, here's what I can tell you. The first guess didn't really help us out a whole lot. In other words, what I mean by this is that Jalen Brunson is not the mystery player. In fact, this player does not play for the Knicks, nor does he play in the Eastern Conference or the Atlantic Division. What we do know is that we got a partial match, that this player could be a guard, somebody taller than 6'2". We're looking for a guy younger than 26 years old, and jersey numbers gotta be below jersey number 11. All right, so we're looking for a guard, maybe a guard slash forward, somebody taller than 6'2", younger than 26. Jersey numbers gotta be below number 11. We gotta go out west too, by the way. All right, do not guess an Eastern Conference player. We are not looking for anybody from the East. We are looking for somebody out west, fairly younger guy, probably a guard slash forward. I'm thinking it's, like a wing type of player. All right. Looks like we got B. Don. He's throwing KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. out there. Let's go ahead and give Kevin Porter Jr. a try. It is not Kevin Porter Jr., but being that this player is in the Western Conference, we are one step closer to figuring this out. It is a guard slash forward, as I suspected. Somebody who's taller even than 6'4", somebody who is older than 22, younger than 26. We're looking for somebody 23, 24, and we did not get a partial match on that jersey number. So we're looking for somebody like jersey number 6, 7, 8, somewhere around that range, right? Probably below 9. But above 5. So like 6, 7, 8, or 9, I would say would be a wise guess here. And we don't want anybody from the Southwest Division, which rules out a number of teams, right? No Mavericks, no Rockets, no Grizzlies, no Pelicans, no Spurs. So we got to go Pacific or Northwest Division. Here's your options here. Pacific or Northwest Division. Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Suns, Kings. You got the Nuggets, T-Wolves, Blazers, Thunder, or possibly the Jazz as your options, all right? Some of you folks are throwing some other guesses out there. It's not Kevin Porter Jr., we know that much. We got Anthony Davis as a guess, Luka Doncic as a guess, Kevin Huerter as a guess. Luka would fit the height requirements. I think he would also possibly fit into the jersey requirements, maybe even possibly the age requirements. The only issue with Luka is he is in the Southwest Division, so it cannot be Luka Doncic. Paul George, probably going to be a little bit too old. We're looking for somebody who's 23, 24 years old. PG is a veteran in this game. This is not going to be Paul George. I can promise you that. SGA, possibly. The only issue with SGA could be the height requirement. Let's give him a guess, though. Let's give him a try. I actually don't mind that. Let's go SGA. All right. Not going to be SGA. All right, this player is in fact not in the Northwestern Division, but we've got SGA. He is a guard. He's 6'6". We're getting closer to the height, guys. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer to the height. He's 6'6". We're looking for somebody who's 6'7", probably 6'8". SGA 24, just a little bit too old. So that kind of leads us to one age, right? It's got to be somebody who's 23 years old. SGA's jersey number too low at number 2, so it's not going to be SGA. Not somebody from the Southwest or the Northwest, which just leaves the Pacific Division. Golden State, LA Clippers, LA Lakers, Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings. Somebody guess Kevin Huerter. Let's go Kevin Huerter. Let's give that a try. Not Kevin Huerter. but we have a lot more matches with Kevin Huerter than we have with any of these other players. This player's not going to be on the Sacramento Kings. Western Conference Pacific Division, guard/forward, exactly 6'7". Kevin Huerter, just a little bit too old at 24 years old. Jersey number 9. We're almost there with the jersey number. So I'm going to say this is probably somebody who's rocking like number 8, possibly number 7. Number 8, possibly number 7. Scotty Barnes, not a good guess because Scotty Barnes is in the East. Jalen Green, not a good guess because Kevin Porter Jr. plays for Houston and he's in the Southwest Division. We know it's not a Houston Rocket or anybody from the Southwest Division. Lou Dort, not going to be Lou Dort, unfortunately. Jonathan Kuminga could be a decent guess. We got some Torrey Craig guesses out there. Let's go ahead and use our cheat code, aka our silhouette here. All right, this player is shaped like a piece of broccoli from the looks of things. I don't think that's Torrey Craig. In fact, I think that's 21 Savage. If I were to guess, 21 Savage would be my guess. Although he's not an NBA player, I'm pretty sure that's him. But I don't think that's Kuminga either. I don't think that's Kuminga, and I don't think that's Torrey Craig. I don't know who this is. If it's not 21 Savage, well, damn, I don't know who it is. James Wiseman? Joel Embiid? I think James Wiseman's too tall. We're looking for a player that is 6'7". James Wiseman's playing center. Not going to be James Wiseman. I can promise you that. Not Joel Embiid either. Embiid's out east. Moses Moody? LaMelo Ball? No, not LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball's in the East, but let's try Moses Moody. Because why not, gang? Why not? Not Moses Moody. Moses Moody's haircut, not quite up to par here. Moses Moody, though, Pacific Division, so that's a good guess, but not the Golden State Warriors. Not going to be a player who plays for the Warriors. Come on, y'all. We got to get this. It's going to be some obscure player. Let me just let y'all know who we've had in the past, all right? We've had Jared Vanderbilt, Tari Eason, Dwight Powell, Garrett Temple, Boban Marjanovic. They're not giving us layups here. They're making us think about this. And obviously, this is going to be a challenge. Let's see here. Terry Rozier, no, he's in the East. Brandon Boston, Goodwin. I mean, man, we're running low on fuel here. Jordan Goodwin, no, he's in the East. Doggone it, what a waste. We're down to our last 2 guesses. This is guess number 7. If this ain't right, then we're gonna get down to guess number 8. But y'all see the guy's head here. He's shaped like I said, he's shaped like a piece of broccoli. Jackson Hayes, no, not gonna be Jackson Hayes. Wrong division. We're looking for a Pacific Division player, not a King, not a Warrior. We're looking for either a Laker, a Clipper, or a Sun. A Laker, a Clipper, or a Sun. All right. Anthony Simons? No, not going to be Simons. Laker, Clipper, or Sun. Laker, Clipper, or Sun. That's what it's got to be. Troy Brown? Could be Troy Brown. I don't mind Troy Brown. Hey, we haven't guessed Troy Brown yet. Let's give it a shot. Bang! It is Troy Brown of the Los Angeles Lakers. Finally, we have uncovered, we have solved the mystery that's plagued mankind for centuries. It is Troy Brown Jr. of the Los Angeles Lakers. Shout out to the Troy Brown guessers out there. Yes, Troy Brown is a Laker in the Western Conference, in the Pacific Division, guard/forward, 6'7". 23 years of age, and he's rocking jersey number 7. So shout out to everybody who guessed Troy Brown Jr. Like I said, folks, they do not give us very well-known mainstream household names on this Larry Birdle. They make us think. So shout out to Larry Birdle. I actually like this. There we go. Larry Birdle coming through again, really testing our NBA player knowledge. Let's move into today's NBA slate. We've got a lot of games to talk about. In fact, we've got 3, 6, 9, 10 NBA games to talk about. Lots of NBA action going on today in the association. So, guys, if you're excited about tonight's NBA slate, go ahead and fire up those likes. Make sure you're subscribed. And we're going to go split screen mode here. We're going to split PrizePicks off to the right. And we got our game slates broken down here for us over on the left, thanks to RotoWire. So the very first game of the night tips off at 7 o'clock right here in the Sunshine State, where I reside in Florida. The Los Angeles Lakers are taking on the Orlando Magic. For the Lakers, LeBron James is a game time decision, but he's expected to play. Dennis Schroeder, also game time decision, but he's also expected to play. Anthony Davis, of course, is going to be out for a number of weeks, with no timetable for his return. And then JTA, Juan Toscano Anderson, also out for the Los Angeles Lakers. So you're going to be looking at Schroeder, Pat Bev, Lonnie Walker, LeBron James, and Thomas Bryant. LeBron put on a pretty nice little show for us on Christmas Day, going up against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, but ultimately could not hang. He could not hang with Luka and Dallas, but LeBron did come through. I took his points prop, so shout out to LeBron James, who's just been stringing together 30-plus point games here recently. Orlando getting healthier. There's only 3 guys on the injury list who might not play tonight. You're talking about Jonathan Isaac, who I hear is getting closer and closer to making his return. It feels like it's been since the NBA bubble since we saw Jonathan Isaac. It's been a really long time. Isaac, in case those of you who don't remember, actually quite a pretty good player, so I'm excited to get him back as an Orlando Magic fan. Chuma Okeke is out, as is Jalen Suggs. Now, this game does not look too shabby here on paper, so for those of you who voted for this Paolo Banchero taco, I'm kind of liking it. At 16.5, it's not looking too shabby. We got a total of 235.5 points. That's a pretty high total. We've got a spread of just 3.5 points. That's a close, competitive spread. Let's talk about this Paolo Banchero taco real quick while it's on top of our minds, right? He's at 16.5. It looked like, according to the PrizePicks Discord, that he was going to be 17.5. At 16.5, though, this is almost a shoe-in. A no-brainer, a must-take type of taco, in my opinion. Now, why is that? Well, we know the Orlando Magic are getting more and more healthy, meaning their rotations are going to change a little bit. But one thing that won't change is the fact that Paolo Banchero is undoubtedly the best player on this team, the Rookie of the Year candidate, and he is the centerpiece, the cornerstone of the Orlando Magic franchise, and so therefore, he will get all the shot opportunities that he wants. All right, he's got the green light, and he's going up against a legend in LeBron James. You don't think he wants to put on a good game against LeBron tonight? Come on. This kid grew up watching LeBron James. Of course he wants to play well against the king. Who wouldn't? So I went ahead, I jumped on StatMuse, I already pulled up Paolo Banchero's game logs with Wendell Carter Jr. active. The reason I did this is because Wendell Carter Jr. most likely going to start at center tonight. He's been coming off the bench. He's been working himself back into game shape, getting his legs under him. But I wanted to throw this out there. Paolo Banchero points per game with Wendell Carter Jr. We take a look at his game logs here. We got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games played. 12 games this season with Wendell Carter Jr. There's only been one game in which Paolo Banchero has not covered 16.5 points with Wendell Carter Jr. in the lineup, and that was back against the Oklahoma City Thunder back on November 1st, all right? Otherwise, he's hit 18 or more points in every game except for that one game against the OKC Thunder. All right, so it looks like a really good taco, even if Wendell Carter Jr. starts, even if Wendell Carter Jr. is in the mix in the rotation. So wanted to throw that out there. I think Paolo Banchero at 16.5 points is one of the safest tacos I've seen recently. All right, let's go get a projection here. Let's take a look at Paolo Banchero's projected points. Just to give you guys a little bit more information on this prop, he is projected for a healthy 23.3 points tonight. 23.3 points. We need him to score 17 in order for us to be satisfied with this taco. In order for this taco to satisfy our hunger, right? He's going to need to score 17 points, but he's projected for 23.3. So I think we're in good shape here with Paolo Banchero. Taking a look at his points line across all the different sports books, they've got him at 20.5. Folks, people are out there on these sports books betting the over on Banchero's taco at 20.5. Well, not his taco, but his points prop at 20.5 is being bet over right now on your favorite sports books. So he's being bet over at 20.5. He's projected for over 23 points tonight. He's only missed 16.5 points once when Wendell Carter Jr. is active and in the lineup. So I think that we take the banter taco and not try to get cute. And what do I mean by get cute? Well, I wouldn't take the under on his 20.5 points prop either. I would just take the taco in this case. I know a lot of you have been hedging lately, meaning you've either like taken the taco over and or taken his original line under. Like you've done both to kind of cover your butt. I don't think you have to do that with this one. I think you just take the taco. Don't try to get cute by taking the under at 20.5 as well. I think this one's pretty straightforward. We just take the taco and hope for the very best. Like I said, Ben Carroll's done a great job at going over 16.5 points. Again, these are games played with Wendell Carter Jr. We could take that with Wendell Carter Jr. out and just show you all the game logs for Paolo Banchero this season using StatMuse. Paolo Banchero points logs. How many times has he went under 16.5 this season? Not many, just twice, in fact. He had 9 points. That 9-point game came against the Toronto Raptors, very tough team defensively, or Los Angeles rather, not a very tough defensive team, especially without Anthony Davis. And then we talked about the other game, which was against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Otherwise, my guy has hit 18 or more points in every other game that he's played in. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 out of 25 games, he scored at least 18 or more points. Very consistent. I like that on my tacos. I like consistent tacos. Quality is key for a tasty taco. If you guys are liking this taco, slap the like button. Let me know that you're liking it by hitting the like button. But yeah, I think I'll be putting some Paolo Banchero tacos on my plate tonight. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, what about anybody else from this game? We talked about LeBron James. He's been reeling off 30-point games like they're going out of style. Right now, we don't have anybody from the Los Angeles Lakers on the board. Actually, I take that back. LeBron is up on the board. He's at 31.5 points, gang. 31.5. So they're starting to raise that line up just a little bit. Just a little bit, all right? He's scored 30 against Denver, 33 against Washington, 31 against Sacramento, 34 against Charlotte, 38 against Dallas on Christmas Day. So LeBron has definitely been right in that 30, 31 point window. But is he going to get 32 tonight? That's really the question. I would say in a game total of 235.5 with a spread of just 3.5, if this game stays close, if it stays competitive like we hope that it does, it should be high scoring. There should be plenty of offense for LeBron James. Let's just quickly take a look at LeBron because I know he's going to be a very popular option. I know a lot of people are going to go to King James tonight, as you should, right? Orlando's defense, we're good. Not great. We're good. Let's take a look and see what LeBron's been up to without Anthony Davis. So these are his last 40 games without Anthony Davis. He is 23 for 40, averaging 33.1 points per game without AD. And we already talked about Anthony Davis is going to be out tonight. So that's a 57% hit rate. 33.1 points per game. His line today is at 31.5. So 57% hit rate. Taking a look at this a little bit closer, right? We could look at the away games that he's played without Anthony Davis. 33.1 overall. When he's on the road, he's averaging 32.3 points per game, which is 12 for 21, 57% hit rate for games played on the road without Anthony Davis. So that gives you a little bit more information, a little bit more insight. Like I said, I think LeBron's probably going to end up being a very popular option. So there's some more info on LeBron James for you. Now, what about when he plays Orlando? Has not played Orlando yet this season. He has played Orlando twice, going back to last season when we set his point line to 31.5 on props.cash here. Well, gang, it's a little bit discouraging because he has scored 30 and 29. So he gets very close. He's knocking on the door of 32 points, but he's just not quite getting there, right? One more bucket back on December 12th, he would have went over. One more three-pointer against Orlando on January 21st, he would have went over. So he's literally missed this point prop in his last two games against Orlando by one bucket. First game was a two-pointer. Second game was a three-pointer. He would have went over had he made just one more bucket in each of those two games. So it's probably going to be another one of those scenarios where it's going to be close tonight, right? We expect LeBron to be up there around 30 points, but he's going to have enough gas to get over the hump? That's really the question. So let's get you a projection on LeBron's points. I've got him projected for 30.8. Again, really close to 31, 32 in that range. Take a look at where he's at on your favorite sports books. He's at 31.5. They're betting the under at 31.5. Talking minus 125. We're talking minus 120 over 30.5. So 30 to 31, maybe even 32 points. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a doozy. What do you guys think? You taking the over or under on LeBron James? Those of you who are watching live, let me know in the chat. Are we feeling this LeBron James over tonight, or do we think that maybe LeBron gets close but no cigar? You guys got to let me know. Moving on from that game, Philadelphia at Washington tips off at 7 o'clock. We got Tyrese Maxey still sitting for the Philadelphia 76ers, which means fire up James Harden, fire up Joel Embiid, and to a lesser degree, fire up Tobias Harris, right? That's the big three for that Philadelphia 76ers lineup. And I don't want us to sleep on De'Anthony Melton either, because he's actually been playing pretty good basketball here over the last couple of games. Melton, a three-point assassin. He's also been getting buckets, though. We take a look at the last 5 games for De'Anthony Melton. He's going to get overlooked because of Harden, because of Embiid, because of Harris. But like I said, maybe he shouldn't be getting overlooked because he scored 12 or more points in 4 out of his last 5 games. We know the Washington Wizards, not great defensively, especially when it comes to guarding opposing guards. So Harden, Melton, probably going to be solid options. You got Embiid versus Porzingis. I love that matchup for Embiid. I really don't think Kristaps Porzingis is equipped to deal with the process. Process is set at 31.5, but he could be in for a good night tonight. If you don't go Embiid's points, I don't mind you looking at his rebounds. His rebounds have already been bumped from 9.5 up to 10. Some games where Embiid sort of checks out when it comes to cleaning the glass, but I'll tell you this, the Washington Wizards, as of late, giving up quite a bit of rebounds to opposing centers. If we go take a look here, last 7 games, rebounds allowed by the Washington Wizards, they're right up there toward the top at 15.7 rebounds per game. That is the 7th highest average rebounds per game to centers allowed in the last 7 games. So Embiid could be in for a good night when it comes to cleaning that glass. Like I said, he is projected for 10 boards on PrizePicks. Let's get you a projection according to the Action Labs projection tools. Got him projected for 9.2 boards. He is at 9.5 on a lot of major sports books, including DraftKings and BetMGM, minus 140, minus 145 betting favorite to go over at 9.5. Guys, we're also seeing him at 10.5 on some of these sports books, but at 10.5, you're seeing some resistance here. They don't think he's going to go for 11 boards. So if you take the over on 10 rebounds, just know that it could end up being a tie, could end up being a push. He might land on exactly 10 boards, which doesn't kill your entry, but it does lower the payout just a little bit. But a tie or a prop, tie on a prop is not the worst thing in the world. So you could go with Joel Embiid's rebounds tonight against the Wizards team that's just been giving up the boards left and right. All right, let's move on to the next game here because we got a lot of games to talk about. Again, appreciate everybody who's joining me. Guys, if you're finding any value, whether that be entertainment value, informational value, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed as well. 7:30 brings us a game between the Houston Rockets and the Boston Celtics. We've got a 14.5 point spread on this game. That is very scary, especially if you're looking to take any overs for full game props. This, for me, would be limited. As far as like taking any full game props, I would limit my full game exposure here. But you could go first half only. And that's the great thing about playing on PrizePicks versus some of these other sites and sports books and things. PrizePicks gives us first half only. We could play everything from points to PRA to fantasy score first half. So you got a lot of different options when it comes to first half only props on PrizePicks. Another great reason for you to be playing on PrizePicks if you're not yet. Again, promo code Curry is going to get you that 100% instant deposit match whenever you want it, whenever you need it. All right. So here we go. Jayshawn Tate, game time decision for the Houston Rockets. Danilo Gallinari obviously out for Boston. Boston did get Robert Williams back a number of games ago. He's still kind of working back into game shape. All right, this is going to be a pretty high scoring contest at 231.5 points. Where do I want to go here? I don't know. Alperen Şengün's been playing pretty good. Maybe Al Horford struggles a little bit against the young buck, Alperen Şengün. Jalen Green, I do like Jalen Green in terms of scoring, but I like him better when he plays at home. Kevin Porter Jr., I'm not sure who Marcus Smart's going to be matched up against, but I'm kind of leery about this backcourt for Houston tonight. I want to take something from this game, but as of right now, I don't know what I want to take. Maybe Jaylen Brown. I feel like this could be a Jaylen Brown type of game. Brown, Tatum, it's always kind of tough to figure out who's going to pop off on any given night. But let's move on to the next game. Atlanta at Indiana. We saw Tyrese Haliburton last night struggle. I was on Haliburton for his fantasy score against the beat-up New Orleans Pelicans. Haliburton did not show up. He had himself a very poor shooting night. I know some folks were taking the points and assists for Haliburton. Nothing really hit. If you were on any Haliburton props last night, it was a bad night to be backing Hallie. Over on the Atlanta side, as far as injuries go, no Clint Capella tonight. We know he's out. DeAndre Hunter, also a game time decision. Could possibly be without Hunter and Clint Capella, who's definitely out. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins, they'll hold down the fort going up against this Indiana Pacers squad. I love the total of this game, guys. It's one of the highest totals tonight, 239 points. 239 with a 1.5 point spread. You got to love the total. You got to love the fact that this game is expected to stay close and competitive. We could go back to Tyrese Haliburton tonight. I know some of you guys are saying that he is forever banned, but it may not be a bad idea to go back to Haliburton. I like going back to props. When they fail me, and they fail me miserably, like Tyrese Haliburton last night with just 12 points against the New Orleans Pelicans, I don't mind going back. Because I know that he's a quality player. I know he's averaging 24 points per game in his last 5 games. I know he's averaging over 20 points per game this season. So I don't mind going back to a guy like Tyrese Haliburton. But I am a little nervous that maybe DeJounte Murray picks Tyrese Haliburton up on defense. That does concern me a little bit because Murray is a quality defender. He does defend the guard position pretty well. Let me go and look at something here. I want to go see how Tyrese Haliburton has done against Atlanta this season. Okay. So we don't have any game logs for him against Atlanta this season. Has not played them yet. These are all from last season. In fact, 2 out of these 4 games are when he was with Sacramento. These first 2, 24 against Atlanta when he was with the Kings still, 11 against Atlanta, still with the Kings. But these last 2 games are more important. He dropped 25 against Atlanta in each of his 2 games when he joined the Indiana Pacers. But DeJounte Murray wasn't on the Hawks at that time. He just signed this season. So not quite apples to apples, right? When we compare these game logs from what he did last season to this season. So I'm a little bit nervous that maybe that DeJounte defense is going to be a little bit too much for Tyrese tonight. But let's take a look at a projection. I got Tyrese Haliburton projected for a healthy little 23.8 points. They expect Haliburton to have a good night against the Hawks tonight. We're seeing Haliburton at 19.5, some like mixed betting signals being broadcasted here, so to speak. So he's a betting favorite to go over on DraftKings, but under on FanDuel. So you're seeing the betting public not quite sure. Nobody's on the same page here when it comes to Tyrese Haliburton. So they're not quite sure what to do with his points. Let's just go take a look at the Atlanta Hawks real quick. Last 7 games, Atlanta giving up about 24 points per game to opposing point guards. That's not too shabby. They're also giving up over 55 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards in their last 7 games. That's the 3rd highest. So maybe if you don't feel comfortable about his points at 19.5, maybe you don't like his points at 19.5. You could potentially go with Tyrese Haliburton's fantasy score at 41.5, being that the Atlanta Hawks have given up the 3rd highest amount of fantasy points in the last 7 games to point guards. So don't sleep on Hallie, all right? He's not going to stay bad forever. At some point, we're going to get back on the Hallie train or the Hallie-copter, so to speak. I know a lot of you guys are a little bit bitter, we'll say. Sour grapes. Anyway, moving on to this Los Angeles Clippers and Toronto Raptors game. Then I'll get to your questions. I saw a super chat come through from my guy, Fear Shaolin. I'll definitely make sure that I get to that super chat, brother. Don't worry, I got you covered. Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard making his return to the 6. to Toronto. He brought a championship to the Toronto Raptors. Let me remind you, I know it seems like he's been on the Clippers for a while. I know we haven't seen a lot of Kawhi Leonard over the last couple of years, but yes, Kawhi Leonard was that guy when he was with Toronto. So he is expected to play tonight against the Toronto Raptors. He could have very easily won today's thumbnail, but I went with Jalen Brunson because as of last night, Kawhi Leonard's status was kind of up in the air. We weren't sure if Kawhi was playing or not, but it looks like he's going to be a green light go. This one has a total of 219.5, just a 5-point spread. So it'll be interesting to see Kawhi Leonard against this Toronto Raptors squad. Raptors, very tough team defensively. Haven't really looked at anything as far as anything standing out from this game just yet. I see this being one of those low and slow, a lot of defense between these two teams type of game. That's how I see this game playing out. You got Siakam, Barnes, Anunoby, and Fred VanVleet projected to be in the starting lineup. I don't see Gary Trent Jr. I don't see him on the injury list, and I don't see him in the starting lineup, so I'm not quite sure what his status or story is at this moment. Definitely stay on top of that. Maybe he's not going to play. They got Juan Hernan-Gomez expected to start at power forward tonight, so we'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, this looks like one of those games where I don't know if I'm going to have too much exposure to this game. Is there anything that you're liking in here? This Clippers and Toronto Raptors game? If there is, leave it in the chat. If there's something that stood out to you, I mean, maybe we just go the Kawhi Leonard revenge narrative, right? Where he looks to possibly have a good game against the team that he won a championship for. Right now, though, we don't have any Kawhi Leonard props up on the PrizePicks board, but I can guarantee you that by the end of the night, they'll probably add some. So let's go ahead and move on from this. San Antonio at OKC, another high total, 236.5. Big total game here, 236.5 points with a 7-point spread. It's favoring the home team in this case, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shout out to Jakob Poeltl last night. Jakob Poeltl put on an absolute show. From a fantasy score standpoint, my guy crushed. He was getting blocks, he was getting steals, he was getting rebounds and some points. He was doing a little bit of everything, putting on an absolute clinic against rookie Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler, another guy that I was on who looked like he was in a great spot without Kelly Olynyk. My guy got in foul trouble. Walker Kessler, foul trouble, did not do us any favors last night against Jakob Poeltl. But Poeltl put on an absolute clinic. Maybe tonight again against the Oklahoma City Thunder, we see more of the same from Poeltl. We do not have any Poeltl props up yet either. So not sure why we're not getting any Jakob Poeltl props, but against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the reason that I bring him up is because the Thunder this season have not been very good against opposing centers, right? They've been giving it up left and right, almost 56 fantasy points per game. That equates to over 23 points, over 16 rebounds, and over 4 assists. To go along with that, over 1 steal and 2 blocks per game. So they've been giving up a lot of fantasy points to opposing centers. So I'm waiting for Jakob Poeltl, because against OKC, he could be in for another good night coming off of a strong performance last night. Let's just see how many fantasy points Jakob Poeltl actually had here. Jakob Poeltl. You go FanDuel points if you're using StatMuse, and then you type in the word logs following that. Yeah, he went nuclear last night. 46.8 fantasy points last night against the Utah Jazz. Not a very good team when it comes to defending the center position. OKC, I would throw them in that same basket, that same bucket. They are not a good team defensively either. You see Utah giving up over 58 fantasy points per game. OKC is right behind them right at 56 fantasy points per game. So as soon as we get some Jakob Poeltl on the board, I'll be a happy camper. But as of right now, he is not. But that is one to keep in mind and to keep your eye out on. Now, on the other side of this game, we've got SGA, Gilgeous Alexander, 31.5 points. He's another guy who I would imagine is in for a great night going against the likes of Trey Jones and the San Antonio Spurs. SGA's just been lights out this season. Not a whole lot that I need to say about him. Yeah, he's cooled a little bit. In recent games, he has cooled a little bit, but I don't mind going back to SGA. He did drop 34 on San Antonio the last time they played. He had some stinkers, though. He did have some stinkers against the Spurs last season, just 14 and 13 points. So out of his last 3 games, all from last season, just 1 for 3, but he does have that upside, right? 30-plus point upside on any given night. So 34 the last time he played San Antonio. This season, just taking a look at SGA and his splits situation here. He's playing at home tonight. At home, he averages 31.9 points. On the road, he averages 31.4 points. So not really a big splits player, meaning he doesn't score a whole lot more at home than he does when he's on the road. But he's done a pretty good job here in terms of covering 30 plus points. He needs 32 tonight to hit the over. You see the Spurs defense giving up the most points per game to opposing teams, the highest field goal percentage to opposing teams, 20th when it comes to three-pointers allowed, the highest three-point field goal percentage to opposing teams, just 8th in free throws allowed, but 28th. There's only two teams who rank worse in point guard defense than the Spurs defense does. So I think SGA should be in for a good night tonight. Just taking a look here at the season averages. The San Antonio Spurs giving up about 23 to 24 points per game. Doesn't sound like enough points, but you see where they rank. They're kind of close to the top, right? And if we look at the last 7 games especially, guys, they're giving up over 27.1 points per game over their last 7 games. That's the 5th highest point per game average to point guards in the last 7 games. So they have given up more points in the last 7 games than they have over the course of the entire season. So maybe SGA goes off tonight. Maybe we see him as a taco at some point too. So you might want to hold your horses if you're liking some SGA. Are you guys liking him tonight for points? Maybe you're taking the fantasy score. That's not a bad option if you wanted to go fantasy score as well, because San Antonio has given up over 57 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. SGA is at 50.5. 50.5 sounds like a whole hell of a lot of fantasy points to score. But if anybody can do it, it's this dude, right? So I got his points projected at 33.6 according to the action projection tools. We got him at 31.5 points on some sites, 32.5 points on other sites, even 33.5 points on a site like Parks, Sportsbook, Rivers, Resort, and Unibet. So we are seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 points of value here. And in some cases, we're seeing people bet the over at as high as 33.5 points. So we are getting a little bit of a discount on his points. As far as the fantasy points go, let's look at fantasy points for SGA. I got him projected for 50.5. So PrizePicks is right on the money here. They're right on the money here. Maybe they use Fantasy Labs to set their fantasy projections. They are right in line with Fantasy Labs at 50.5 projected fantasy points. 50.54 to be exact, but your super chat's good with me, brother. I still see your super chat. Have no fear, Shaolin. Pun intended. Anyway, moving on from this game, guys. The Phoenix Suns taking on the Memphis Grizzlies at 8 o'clock. This game tips off. Tons of injury news on the Phoenix Suns side. Obviously, Devin Booker being the biggest one. He tried to come back, only lasted 6 minutes or 4 minutes or something, and he ended up leaving on Christmas Day. Why even lace up the sneaks at that point, right? Jay Crowder's still out. Cam Johnson's still out. Cam Payne's still out. And Landry Shamet out. So the Phoenix Suns are going to be starting Damian Lee at shooting guard. Former Golden State Warrior Damian Lee is going to get a lot of minutes, as many minutes and shots as he can handle. Joining him, Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Torrey Craig, and DeAndre Ayton. Memphis, 8-point favorites in this game. 8-point favorites, so this could blow out. I kind of think the Phoenix Suns are going to be ill-equipped to deal with the Memphis Grizzlies today. I can expect and probably see the Memphis Grizzlies running away with this one at home. You got Ja Morant. Desmond Bane is now healthy. Dillon Brooks is in there. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams. So they've got their full squad. Their full starting 5 that they normally start will be healthy, active for the Memphis Grizzlies. I really could see Memphis running away with this one. So probably won't have too much from this game. But as of right now, I don't know. Nothing's really jumping out at me. Ja's been kind of when it comes to scoring. Desmond Bane, maybe. I don't know if he's getting his full run of minutes just yet. Maybe going with one of the bigs like Steven Adams or Jaren Jackson Jr. against this Phoenix Suns front court. That could be a possible way to attack. We talked about Jalen Brunson. He's going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Jalen Brunson going up against Dallas, his forward team. So Brunson tonight, I don't know if he's going to look to get a few extra shots up going against his buddies in Dallas, but possibly, maybe, right? Right now, I'm not seeing any New York Knicks on the board. Is that right? Come on, PrizePicks. What are y'all doing? Nope. No Jalen Brunson up on the board because he is a game time decision. Ooh. We may not see Jalen Brunson suit him up tonight for his homecoming against the Dallas Mavericks. Say it ain't so, man. That would be disappointing. Anyway, total of 219 with a 5-point spread for the Dallas Mavericks. They have been pretty short-handed here. Lately, no Dorian Finney-Smith, no Josh Green, no Maxi Kleber. Those three out again tonight. We do have a couple of guys here on this Dallas Mavericks squad that were former New York Knicks. A guy like Kemba Walker didn't really end his stint with the New York Knicks gracefully, right? Kind of fell out of the rotation with Tom Thibodeau. And then we just saw him kind of fade to black. Kemba Walker just kind of disappeared. And you also have Frank. I have never been able to say this guy's name. Frank the Tank, former New York Knicks point guard, now with the Dallas Mavericks. Tim Hardaway Jr., also a former New York Knicks. Reggie Bullock, also a former New York Knicks. A lot of ties here between these two teams. Just throwing it out there. Maybe these guys play with a little chip on their shoulder tonight. But without Jalen Brunson news, I'm going to kind of wait and see what's happening with the Knicks side of things before I touch any of these Dallas Mavericks props. So I'm going to move on. There you go. Josh coming through. Nila Kina. I'm seeing some Nili Kina. Frank Nila Kina. All right. 3 different ways to say it. Tomato. Nilakina. We'll work on it. Maybe next time. Charlotte at Golden State, 10 p.m. tip-off. We're getting into some of these late night games here. Got 2 games tipping off at 10. LaMelo Ball. We talked about LaMelo Ball yesterday. LaMelo Ball continues to ball when it comes to filling up the stat sheet in the points column. A lot of you guys were kind of losing hope, losing faith in LaMelo Ball. Did not have the strongest of starts in the last game, but did come up big in the second half against Portland. We talked about his 3-point makes. They're still on the board. They're still giving us LaMelo Ball's 3-point makes at 3.5. Do we keep going back to it? I mean, if it ain't broke, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I've heard. Maybe we do go back to it tonight going up against Golden State. We know that the Golden State Warriors are shorthanded. They're going to be dealing with a lot of injuries in their backcourt. But LaMelo Ball, who is 9 for 10, 90% hit rate, has hit in 9 straight games. When will it end? All good things must come to an end, right? Nothing lasts forever. You've heard these sayings in your life. So at some point, LaMelo Ball will fail us. I don't know if it's going to be tonight. If I did, I would bet everything. I would bet everything. Everything that I own, everything that I have to my name on LaMelo Ball. If I knew what was going to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen, but I can only guess that hopefully he keeps it going tonight. Golden State is 24th ranked when it comes to 3-pointers allowed to opposing teams this season. They're also just 17th ranked when it comes to 3-point field goal percentage allowed, allowing a 3-point field goal percentage of about 36% per game. On top of that, this game total is massive at 240 points with just a 4.5-point spread. I would have to say that I'm going back to LaMelo Ball for more than 3.5 3-point makes. I don't know why you wouldn't. The guy's hitting 9 straight games, 9 for 10. He's going up against a beaten, battered, bruised Golden State Warriors team who's going to be starting the likes of Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson in the backcourt. Neither guy known for their defense. Klay, more of a scorer. He can play defense or could play defense at one point in his career. Jordan Poole, definitely more of a scorer than a lockdown defender. So I'm not really worried about either one of these guys slowing young LaMelo Ball down tonight. Taking a look at a projection for LaMelo Ball and his 3-point makes. Got him projected for 4.4. That is more than 3.5, gang. We need him to knock down at least 4. He is at 3.5 on major sports books. Minus 142 on FanDuel to go over 3.5 3-point makes. Minus 135 on PointsBet. 136 on Parks. So every sports book that has him up at 3.5 3-point makes, he is a betting favorite to go over. And over is something that he's been good at 4 or more 3-point makes in 9 straight games. Money. Let's take a look at what he's done against Golden State in previous games. He went 1 for 2 against Golden State last season. One game he had no 3-point makes. The other game he had 4 3-point makes. So he does have that 4 or more upside in him against this Golden State Warriors squad. He's going to be on the road tonight. We can also take a look at how LaMelo shot at home versus on the road just to see if there's any significant changes in splits. At home, 3.3 3-point makes per game. Away, 2.9. So he's actually making more. If we look at the game logs from last season and combine them with this season, he's actually making more 3-pointers at home on a per game average at 3.3 than he is on the road at 2.9. So we're catching him in a little bit of a negative split here situation because he is going to be on the road against Golden State tonight. But I don't think it's enough for me to get dismayed or deterred from taking this. Like I said, you just got to keep rolling with it. And eventually, don't be surprised if it fails. But this season, he's 5 out of his last 5 on the road. He's actually 6 out of his last 6 on the road. The last time that he missed was against a tough Miami Heat squad back on the 12th of November. But you look at his last 10 road games. Again, these are dating back to last season. He's 9 for 10 on the road. So I'm not too worried about it. I think you just keep firing it up and see what happens, right? But you could also go with his points. Points haven't been too bad. You can go points and assists. You know he's going to be dropping dimes, getting buckets. So a lot of different ways that you could take LaMelo Ball. Tyrone saying that LaMelo's P plus A, points plus assists, is the better option on the road. So let's take a look at that, being that Tyrone brought that to our attention. He's at 30.5 points plus assists. You can take a look using Props.Cash. Again, if you're not using Props.Cash, promo code Curry gets you 25% off your very first month. Check out Props.Cash if you haven't yet. This season, at home, points plus assists, he's averaging 27.8. This is a combination of this season and last season. So that's 12 of his last 30, just a 40% hit rate. When we take a look at the road splits, 16 for 30 on the road, 53% hit rate. He's hit the points plus assist prop in 5 straight road games this season. So he's 5 of 7 overall, and he's on a 5-game hit streak of 30.5 or more points plus assists on the road. Get you a projection here for those points plus assists. Got him projected for 32.6. That is over 2 points and assists higher than where he's at today at 30.5. And then we're seeing him at a betting favorite over 30.5 on some books. Minus 125, minus 130. And then at 31.5, he is a betting favorite to go under. So you're seeing juice on the over at 30.5, which is where he's at on PrizePicks. Thank the heavens above. And at 31.5, you're seeing him being bet under. So get a little value here on LaMelo Ball's points plus assists. But yeah, 3-point makes, points plus assists. Both of those look like pretty strong, solid options. Jay to the Rome saying Golden State has more options to score. Kuminga and Looney may get more usage versus the Hornets. Fair point. Definitely fair point. All right, let's see what else we got here. There's one more game, and it's a game of 2 of the best passing bigs in the league. We're talking about Nikola Jokic versus my guy Domantas Sabonis. We don't have any Sacramento Kings props up on the board just yet. I don't know why, other than the fact that Sabonis is an absolute beast and a monster, and he's been crushing. He is a game time decision, but he is very likely to play tonight against the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. As far as the Nuggets go, we got 2 guys on the list. We got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, game time decision, very likely to play, and Gillespie, am I saying that right? Gillespie? Game time decision, but he is very likely to play as well. Jeff Green, Uncle Jeff, is out. So it's going to be the same starting 5 that we've come to know and love for the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic for Denver going up against the Sacramento squad. Yes, Sabonis will probably play. Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and De'Aaron Fox. So what are we liking from this game? Well, obviously Sabonis, depending on what his assist prop is at, has been a good look. But then you got Sabonis going up against Jokic, right? Sabonis's boards have been pretty good, but I don't know if he's going to have as great of a rebounding type of game against Jokic tonight. George is saying take some unders on CP3 first half. Going back to that Suns game, that could be an option. Taking some unders on that Suns squad. But yeah, Denver and Sacramento should be a good one. 240.5 points with a 3.5 point spread. So a lot of different ways to go here, gang. Big slate, big slate. If you guys got any questions, definitely use Super Chat, and I will do a deep dive on those questions for you. Fear Shaolin says, I sent a Super Chat earlier. Can you see it? Of course I can see it. It's right here. You're asking about Kevin Porter Jr. over 5.5 rebounds. Franz Wagner over 1.5 turnovers. Monty Morris over 6.5 rebounds and assists. Zach Collins over rebounds and assists. And Reggie Jackson over 1.5 turnovers. All right, you loaded the deck on me, my friend. Let's try to get through these real quick for you. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. Goes a long way in helping support free content here on YouTube, keeping me afloat, helping me do what I do for you guys daily. So you're saying Kevin Porter Jr. over 5.5 rebounds, but I'm seeing Kevin Porter Jr. at 4.5 rebounds. 4.5 rebounds. RJ says you can't hear me. Well, that would be unfortunate. RJ, I think that's an isolated problem. I think that's a you problem. I think that's a you problem, not a me problem. I think everybody else can hear me. Anyway, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Somebody's saying they can't. Okay. Just making sure. All right. Anyway, Fear Shaolin's got a boatload of questions here with his super chat. He's asking about Kevin Porter Jr. over 5.5 boards. Again, he's at 4.5 boards here on PrizePicks. So I'm not quite sure where you're getting the 5.5 rebound line at, but it ain't on PrizePicks unless you're talking about a different Porter Jr. like Michael Porter Jr. perhaps. But Kevin Porter Jr., let's take a look here at what this guy's been up to. He's 3 out of his last 5. We want a bigger sample size on Kevin Porter Jr. Houston going up against Boston. We got blowout risk here. 13.5 point spread favoring the Boston Celtics, which is no bueno. No good, right? He's at 5.5 according to props.cash, but we bump him down to 4.5, and, well, you see a lot more green when you bump him down to 4.5. 72% hit rate at 4.5 rebounds. So not too shabby there when you're looking at the 4.5 number versus the 5.5. At 5.5, he's 16 for 32. He's a coin flip at 50%. At 4.5, he is 72%. All right, so that's the rundown there on KPJ. We want him at 4.5. Hopefully you're getting him at 4.5. If not, sign up for PrizePicks and use code Curry. Get started today. All right. Home splits for KPJ. He is 11 for 15 at home this season. 73% hit rate. 73% hit rate covering this prop at home. On the road, which is where he's going to be tonight, still pretty sweet, but he struggled in his last few games. 12 for 17, 71% hit rate. You saw he had a nice little streak going, but again, more volatile lately in his last several home games, or away games rather. So he's 4 out of his last 9 home games on the road rather. 5 for 10 overall. Last 10 on the road. 5 for 10. 5.4 rebounds per game. We bump him down to 4.5, and you see some of those averages turn to green. But it's been pretty feast or famine. He's either going for like 11 or he's going down to like 1. I mean, he's got a floor of 1 and a ceiling of 11 in his last 10 games. So quite a big discrepancy when you're talking about possible range of outcomes here. Could be as low as 1, as high as 11. You just kind of don't know what you're going to get out of KPJ here recently when we look at those last 10 games on the road. So moving on from that, let's take a look at some DVP numbers for Kevin Porter Jr. He's going to be your de facto point guard, right, for Houston. And then you got Jalen Green. Obviously, he's going to be your shooting guard. But the Boston Celtics giving up 7.7 rebounds per game in the last 7 games to opposing point guards. That is the 4th most. That is the 4th highest average when it comes to rebounds per game to point guards. So that's good news for Kevin Porter Jr. He needs 5. If you're playing on PrizePicks, he's at 4.5. He needs 5 for the over. He's going up against the Celtics squad that's giving up 7.7 per game in their last 7 games. So let's get you a projection on this one real quick. Porter Jr., Kevin, not Michael. Projected for 5.2 boards. That's more than 4.5. He is at 4.5 on some of these sports books, but is a slight betting favorite to go under even at 4.5. We're seeing him as a minus 120 betting favorite to go under 4.5. He was at 5.5 on some books. At 5.5, the public is smashing, obliterating the under on 5.5 rebounds. So if you're playing anywhere where you can get KPJ for 5.5 boards, you might want to take the under, being that he is currently at minus 150 odds to stay under 6 rebounds tonight. All right, so 5 or less boards at 5.5. You're in good shape. It looks pretty good. But at 4.5, like I said, we're still seeing some folks bet the under even at the lower 4.5 number. So yes, he's projected to go for more than 4.5. He's in a pretty good matchup against Boston, but the public doesn't care. They're betting the under at 4.5 boards. So take that for what you will. What else did you got here? You got a couple of other super chats you snuck in on me. You got Franz Wagner as part of your super chat, over 1.5 turnovers. Franz Wagner, as we talked about, the Orlando Magic getting more and more healthy by the day, it seems. Franz Wagner is at 1.5 turnovers. Are you looking to go over or under? I guess over from what it looks like there. 1.5 turnovers. All right. So Wagner, again, kind of vying for ball handling duties with the likes of Markelle Fultz, who's now, getting more and more minutes. He's healthy. Obviously, Banchero is going to be a high usage player. He's going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit. Wendell Carter Jr. is going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit. So those are some guys that could impact Franz Wagner, maybe limit his ball handling and playmaking. That's just one way that you can accumulate a turnover. You can also get a turnover by, an offensive foul. You can step out of bounds. You could throw a pass away. There's a lot of different ways for a player to get a turnover. Now, turnovers are not my most favorite way to play. They're just very unpredictable. They're hard to really project, I would say, because, of the volatility of an NBA game. Anything can really and truly happen. So let's look at these turnovers real quick. For the season, now this was pre-Fultz. A lot of these games was like pre-Fultz. There were some games where Wendell Carter Jr. was out. I mean, for the season, he is 26 for 34. But you see over the last 10 games or so, that turnover number has really started to go down. He's done a much better job at limiting the amount of turnovers. And like I said, I think that has a lot to do with they've got more healthy ball handlers available now. Like Cole Anthony was hurt for a while. Markelle Fultz was hurt for a while. Wendell Carter Jr., believe it or not, he touches the ball quite a bit when he's healthy and active. Obviously, Paolo Banchero we talked about. Bobo's got his hands on the ball. So I look for those guys who are going to be handling the rock a lot, like a Luka Doncic, who has turned the ball over quite a bit at 3.5 turnovers. He's been hitting the over pretty regularly. So with Wagner and the rest of his team kind of starting to get healthy, I don't look at him as an option that's like rock solid anymore for turnovers. But at one point in this season, yeah, he was turning the ball over a lot. I mean, pretty consistent there for a while at 2 or more turnovers. He had missed it once in I'm not even going to count all these, but 20 plus games, he had only missed it once. So for me, I'm going to kind of fade this one, I think. And I don't really have a projection for you in terms of a turnover. No, I don't. So I can't even really give you any sort of projection on Franz Wagner and his turnovers. We can look at the splits situation, though. He is now 0 for his last 5 at home, turning over the basketball fewer than 2 times in 5 straight games at home. Like I said, once upon a time, this was money. He was turning it over a lot, but he's not handling the ball quite as much. I think his usage has been impacted by the Orlando Magic starting to get healthy. So I would fade him. This wouldn't be one of my favorite picks of the day. What else did you have? You had Kevin Porter Jr. rebounds, Franz Wagner's turnovers. You had Monte Morris for more than 6.5 rebounds and assists. Monte Morris for more than 6.5 rebounds and assists. Let's look at that. Monte Morris, not a guy that I've clicked a lot of overs on. In fact, I've clicked probably more unders on Monte Morris this season than anything, but this is an interesting look. I'm wondering what you're seeing that you're liking here about Monte Morris. Let's take a look at it. He's at 6.5 rebounds plus assists, a prop that he's hit in 23 out of 29 games. That's a 79% hit rate. All right, Monty Morris, I see you. Monty Morris is out here doing his thing at 6.5 rebounds and assists. I'm not too mad at that. We've seen him cover this in 23 out of 29. Taking a look at his home games, he's pretty solid there. 9 for 12, 75% at home. All right, averaging 9 rebounds plus assists. We've seen those averages start to slide a little bit, though. Full season, home games, 9 per game. Last 10, 8.9. Last 5, 8. So they're starting to dip a little bit, starting to slide a little bit. But maybe if Denny, again, you're going to have to help me with his last name. Denny, this guy, Denny, Deni. I don't know how to say his last name. Adija? Is the V silent? Avija? Is the D silent or the V silent? One of these letters silent? I don't know. If this guy's out, maybe Monty Morris finds himself with more rebounds and assists tonight. That is something that we can take a look at, being that Denny is currently a game time decision. So this season, he's averaging 8.3. If we take Denny out, he averages about 7.5. So his averages actually go down. But I will say that this season, without Denny, he is 2 for 2 with 8 boards and assists and 7 boards and assists against Utah and Sacramento, respectively. If we look at the last 10 games without Denny, he's 9 for 10. The last 30 games, he's 24 for 30, 80% hit rate. So yeah, I would say that if Denny's out, we would fire Monty Morris up for more than 6.5 rebounds and assists. I think that looks like a solid option. The last 2 games he's played against Philadelphia, both came this season. He went 2 for 2 against Philly, dropping 7 rebounds and assists in both of those games against the 76ers. We go back and look at last season. He is now 4 for 4 against Philadelphia with 7, 9, 7, and 7. My friends who are watching this live and those who are catching the replay, what are we thinking about Monty Morris here? Looking pretty good, right? Seeing a lot of green, especially if Denny happens to sit tonight. 4 for 4 against Philly. Pretty high hit rates on the season, even higher hit rates in his last 10 or so games without Denny. It's looking pretty good. Pretty encouraging. Let's get you a number here on Monty Morris and his projection. I have him projected for 8.6 rebounds and assists. 8.6. Okay. That is a good projection. That is 2.1 rebounds and assists higher than where he is at on PrizePicks today. At 6.5 on your favorite sports books, minus 120 betting favorite, minus 128 betting favorite, even a minus 130 betting favorite on a site like PointsBet. So I think out of the 3 picks we've talked about from your super chat, Mr. Fear Shaolin, so far, I like Monty Morris for more than 6.5 rebounds and assists the most. I think I like that one the most. You got a couple of others on here. Zach Collins, over rebounds and assists, and Reggie Jackson for over 1.5 turnovers. But yeah, I think I'm rocking with the more on Monty Morris. Final answer. And especially if Denny is out tonight. Let's go find your next guy in your super chat. Again, thank you again for the super chat. I come on here and I give my time, I give my research, my information, and I appreciate the super chat. I don't see Zach Collins up on the board though. You're asking about Zach Collins for more than his rebounds and assists. I don't have anything for Zach Collins. I got John Collins, but you're looking for Zach Collins. I don't have anything for Zachy. Let's look at the projection though for Zach Collins, if we've got one. I don't even have a projection for him. What's going on? What's going on with Zach Collins? Yeah, I don't have anything for Zach Collins. Where did you pull that one from? Zach Collins for more than rebounds and assists. I don't have anything for Zach Collins today. He's not on the PrizePicks board. I can't even pull a line or projection for him. Yeah, it's all John Collins. I don't know. We'll skip over that one and head to your last one, which is Reggie Jackson for more than 1.5 turnovers. Kawhi Leonard expected to play tonight against the Toronto Raptors. We know the Raptors are a pretty good unit when it comes to defense. So if Reggie Jackson's going to be out there, again, I don't even see Reggie Jackson on the board. He's not on the board on PrizePicks for anything. There are no Reggie Jackson props. Where are you finding these? I don't know where you're finding these props, but I can't find anything for Reggie Jackson. There we go. We got Reggie Jackson on some projections here, but I don't think I have a projection for turnovers for Reggie. I do not. All right. Well, we're going to have to kick it old school and just kind of look into some of these game logs for Reggie Jackson. So I don't have a line for him. I don't have anything in regards to his turnovers. I see his turnovers here at 2.5. You're saying he is at 1.5 turnovers. So I don't know where you're getting that from, but in the last 109 games that he's played, going back to last season, Reggie Jackson has hit the over in 69% of those games. So at 1.5 turnovers, he's turned the ball over 2 or more times in 75 out of 109. That's a 69% hit rate. Against the Toronto Raptors, he is 2 for his last 2. He played Toronto twice last season. No games played against them this season, but 2 for 2 at 1.5 turnovers. He had 4 in one game and 3 in another. So yeah, he seems to be turning the ball over quite a bit against the Raptors. One other thing that we should consider too is we can go Reggie Jackson turnovers with Kawhi Leonard logs, and we'll go this season. We just want to look at this season. So Reggie Jackson has 2 or more turnovers when playing alongside of Kawhi Leonard in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he's 6 for 11 games played with Kawhi Leonard in terms of 2 or more turnovers. All right. But that's it. That's all I got for you on that Reggie Jackson prop. I don't have any projections or anything like that, but I don't even see him on the PrizePicks board. Maybe he comes back at some point. And if you took that on PrizePicks, I don't know when you got that, but like I said, don't see him up there at this moment. Appreciate all the new subscribers. We got Josh Real. We got AJ. We got Angel Soberano. Appreciate you subscribing. Andre's in the building. Mailman Mac. Appreciate you subbing. Joshua Johnson. Thank you. And the Gov 474, new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing as well. Everyday Fantasy, he dropped a super chat as well. Again, thank you for the super chat, Mr. Everyday Fantasy. He's got Thomas Bryant for 1 block tonight. Thomas Bryant needs to block 1 shot against my Orlando Magic, and he's over. So let's look at Thomas Bryant here at 0.5 projected block shots. Let's see if we got some game logs here for Mr. Thomas Bryant and his blocks. We do, thanks to PropStatCash, and we go find LA versus Orlando. Click on Thomas Bryant's name. All right. So this is Thomas Bryant's game logs at needing just 1 block tonight. He is 20 for 46, 43%. Looking at this season, 5 for 19, 26%. You're wanting to take the over. Yes, you are. You're wanting to take the over on Thomas Bryant's blocks at 0.5. Interesting. All right, I'll give you this. The Orlando Magic do allow over 5 blocks per game to opposing teams. That is the 24th ranked blocks allowed. So that is a high number. There's only 6 teams blocking or allowing more blocks or blocking more shots than the Orlando Magic. Getting their shots blocked. There we go. That's what we're looking for. There's only 6 more teams who are getting their shots blocked more than the Orlando Magic. I think that's the right way to think about that number. Let's go take a look here. Last 7 games. Center position. Orlando Magic giving up about 2.4 blocks per game to opposing centers. That is the 5th most or 5th highest blocks per game to centers in their last 7 games. Let's also take a look at their season numbers. Season numbers, they're still giving up a healthy amount of blocks to opposing centers at 2.2. That does put them right outside the top 5 at 7th most, though. Still at 7th most. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe Thomas Bryant decides he's going to block a shot, but I will say that it's not a lock by any means. Not a lock by any means. He's just 5 for 19 this season. Even if we go without Anthony Davis, let's take a look at those games. Without Anthony Davis, I guess the averages go up a little bit higher. 17 for 34 games played without Anthony Davis over the last 2 seasons. Still just a 50% hit rate, averaging 0.8 blocks per game without AD. So I would take it in like 1 entry, and it would have to be a flex entry for me. It would not be a power play. I would not power this one. But if you wanted to roll the dice on this, the matchup does look good against Orlando as far as Thomas Bryant potentially swatting a shot. Let me see if I have a projection for blocks on Thomas Bryant for you, my friend. I do. I have him projected for 1.3 blocked shots. He is a minus 135 and minus 140 betting favorite to record at least one block tonight. So the odds are in your favor, Everyday Fantasy. Even though his hit rates, his game logs look pretty ugly, the odds are in your favor. You are in good company if you're taking the over on 0.5 blocks. All right, guys, it is 1:20. I don't see any other super chats or any super chats that I missed, so I'm assuming that anybody who put a super chat in, we took care of your questions, all that I could at least. I see a few of you guys who are asking various questions. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's question. Josh Giddey points or Lou Dort PRA, that one's being mentioned. Some people are saying Luka Doncic. What are we liking Luka for? Luka for turnovers. Yeah, that's been a solid option. Luka rebounds. That could be another good look. I'm seeing a lot of shout outs for a lot of different props. Brian Chavez is saying that if you don't like Thomas Bryant for his 0.5 blocks, maybe you go with Thomas Bryant for PRA. That could be another worthwhile option according to Brian Chavez. We're not seeing Thomas Bryant for PRA at the moment, but maybe you go fantasy score instead. Aaron Gordon, first half PRA. Denham Banks is liking that one for the over, I'm guessing. Siakam, Chris Raptors liking Siakam's points versus the Clippers. We got Mikal Bridges, PRA as a good option. Again, we talked about all the injuries for the Phoenix Suns. No Devin Booker, Landry Shamet, Jay Crowder, Cam Payne, Cam Johnson. They're very, very thin on that wing position, so somebody's going to have to step up. But all right, gang, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this stream has brought you good fortune and some good information. If it has, make sure you hit the like button. You're going to want to make sure that you subscribe, like, and then once I end the show, go to the comment section, leave a comment on today's show so that you can qualify for one of those risk-free 2-pick power plays, just like my friend here, my friend Bryce Duchini. Bryce, congratulations again. Please send me your PrizePicks email address so I can get you that risk-free 2-pick power play. All right, gang, that's going to do it for me. I will catch you guys inside of Patreon and Discord if you're a member. If not, well, we'll see you tomorrow, okay? Good luck.